Hey, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing today? So, I just watched the new Netflix movie called The Babysitter, and to be totally honest, I just assumed it was gonna be a giant pile of shit. Mainly for the fact that Bella Thorne's in the movie, and the last thing that she was in was absolutely awful. So, in my head, I was like, oh, wow, here's another thing for her to add to the list of reasons why she should fire her agents in the near future. But then I watched it, was very surprised, and this movie's actually something kind of special. And the movie's basically about this dorky, nerdy little kid who's way too old to be having a babysitter, but he has one, she's super hot, and after he goes to bed, he wants to know what happens after, he falls asleep. Because stereotypically, babysitters will invite their boyfriends in and do, those things. So when his parents are out of town, he stays up one night, sees something, and then a bunch of horrific shit happens, and that's all I'm gonna tell you. Because I went into this movie in old-fashioned knowing absolutely nothing, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, you guys. I fucking loved this movie. Which is surprising, because it was directed by Mick G, who sucks. But hey, I guess a broken clock is right twice a day still, you know what I'm saying? The movie's basically a horror comedy, and it is hilarious. And to add to the hilariosity of it, the cast in general, it was the goofiest cast I would have ever thought of. You have Bella Thorne, who's actually pretty good in the movie, I might add. Then you have a Vine star, some chick who was in the Pitch Perfect movies, Stephen Amell's younger brother, and finally the chick who plays the babysitter who just so happens to be Hugo Weaving's niece and is super sexy at the same time. But knowing all that about the cast and the fact that a lot of the comedy in this movie is very meta and like self-aware and makes fun of like horror tropes a lot, it actually kind of adds to the semi-fourth wall breaking that the movie pulls off. And when I say that, I mean the movie makes comments at you. And if you watch it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. There is literally some comedy in this movie that is like straight up like Deadpool level humor. And the movie actually had like a meaningful character arc for the main character. And it had commentary on just like, life in modern day America about how like kids are way too young to have the internet, and the fact that some words are more offensive than others, and the fact that people are afraid of things just based on statistics, just random shit like that. I don't have too many problems with the movie, but one of them is the fact that this is like strictly aimed at my demographic. In other words, this movie is aimed at 20-something man children and high school students, basically. At least for the first 15 minutes. After that, the audience will kind of get like a wider appeal after that. But there's a lot of like teenage fantasizing stuff in there, and there's a lot of like dorky, nerdy jokes, and just like pop culture references about movies and all sorts of other shit like that. And not everybody's gonna click with that, but that doesn't necessarily make it a bad movie. It makes it just a little bit more of a compartmentalized movie. And also, I have to say, for the first 10 to 15 minutes, again, like some of the acting is a little bit too over the top because the movie is intentionally cheesy, like super cheesy. Like this movie is like Munster, Swiss, and like a bunch of cheddar shredded on top. Also known as Shredder if you want to be a dork about it. And a lot of the times the cheesiness works, but there's other times where it doesn't really quite gel and it just kind of sounds goofy and weird and you're kind of annoyed by it. And it's not just one person either. There's like several moments that happens. But honestly, guys, other than that, this movie was bundles of fun. I laughed probably way louder than I should have. The movie was smart, the dialogue was good. This movie knew what it was and it didn't try and sugarcoat it. And it's a very short movie. It's only an hour and 20. It's not a lot of your time. Based on everything I've just said, I'm gonna give this movie an 8.7 out of 10. I know that sounds like a really high score for me to give a horror comedy given that I'm not the biggest horror fan in the world, but honestly, before I started watching this movie, I was about 2 blinks away from passing the fuck out. But that wasn't happening because this movie kept me awake via laughter, so it's worth checking out. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Have you seen this movie? Have you even heard of it? Hop in the comments. Let me know what's up. Other than that, if you like this review, give me a like, subscribe, do all that other bullshit, and I will catch you guys later.